So about 4 years ago, I had work in a show in Canada that was curated by an Aboriginal or Indigenous Canadian curator, Jenny Western. And Jenny Western organized a show about bicycles from the perspective of 5 Native artists, and I was one of the artists in that show. And in that show, I did a series of prints. I also did a small installation, and I did a lowrider bike. I grew up making lowrider bikes. And hadn't made one for some time. I'm a cyclist and into bicycles and had been thinking about sustainable transportation. So with that show, I began to come back to the lowrider bike and think about it in terms of cultural context. So fast forward a couple years, I've been thinking and making and engaged with bicycles for the last few years. And last summer 2010, I was awarded an Artist Leadership Fellowship from the National Museum of the American Indian at the Smithsonian. And with this grant, with this fellowship, I spent 2 weeks in residency in the Smithsonian doing archival research, looking at indigenous transportation in the Great Lakes, looking at sustainability in transportation. And from that archival research, then I came back and worked with high school and middle school kids in Lansing and the surrounding areas, urban Native kids, put together this series of bikes. And so over the course of the semester, working with RCAH students, with residential college and the Arts and Humanities students, as well as community partners, the Indigenous Youth Empowerment Program, as well as the Lansing Eastern Native American Club. Through all of this, I and the students met on a weekly basis, built a series of 5 lowrider bikes. And then this past summer, at the summer camp from IEP, the Indigenous Youth Empowerment Program, put together the final 2 bikes. And the 7 bikes you see in front of you are all based in the seven sacred teachings of the grandfather. So each of the bikes becomes a visual manifestation of one of those ideas. For the most part, there's been a positive response to the show. I like to engage in shows that have both artwork hanging on the wall as well as stuff in the gallery. And so you can see around me there's a series of 7 different pennants. Of these 7 different pennants, there's 40 or so of each hanging. So the space is kind of visually encapsulated with these. These pennants also have the teachings of the elders on them. And so I think when you start dealing with objects like this, the bikes, which bring together youth pop culture, particularly looking at hip hop. One of the premises of the project was to integrate urban experiences, which is oftentimes a hip hop experience, with the traditional teachings of the elders. And so I think with a show like this, you can bring in young folks, university students, in a way that another show, possibly, which is just say paintings or photographs, may not.